Right. On Friday, we wrote the plan together, and my example was to talk about the Earth's magnetic field and how it's helpful to us. We made very simple notes in each of our boxes to explain that point. The first thing we were going to say was answer the question that yes, it is helpful to us, and then the proof was that it uses a compass, or the magnetic field is used in a compass to tell us directions so we don't get lost, and that it protects us from the dangers of solar flares. It's like a magnetic sunscreen. On the conclusion, we loop back to how it's helpful in many ways by saying, clearly, I've proven my point. You can see that it's helpful. Now what we need to do is take our plan and use that to write an expository. The first thing I do is we're going to focus on the topic sentence. I have to take this and turn it into a complete sentence using my notes. So if we have to answer the question, how is the Earth's magnetic field helpful to us? I can say in a full sentence, the Earth's magnetic field is helpful to us in many ways, to turn it into a complete sentence. Don't forget that this is a new paragraph, so we need to indent. So now I've taken my note of helpful in many ways, turned it into a complete sentence with an indentation. The Earth's magnetic field is helpful to us in many ways. Now I'm going to check off that box because I have given my topic sentence, and I'm going to move to my first detail, which is about a compass. A compass tells us the direction so we don't get lost, but I have to relate back to how that's helpful and how it uses the Earth's magnetic field. So because this is just one paragraph, I'm going to start my next sentence right here because it's still part of the details that go with my topic. And I'm going to say, the Earth's magnetic field allows us to use a compass. And why is that? Because that field forces the needle to always point north. So I will write a sentence about how a compass uses the magnetic field to give us directions. Okay, my sentence I came up with says, first, the Earth's magnetic field makes a compass work because the magnetic force points the needle north. Okay, so I've talked about a compass, and I've talked about how a compass uses the field, tells to the directions, and now I need to make a sentence on why that's helpful. So we won't get lost. I can say something like, if you know the direction of where you are with your compass, it will keep you from getting lost. So I wrote my last sentence about won't get lost. Notice I'm checking each box after I've written my sentence about it so that I know that I have used my plan to write my story. So now, so far, I have my topic sentence and my first detail. The Earth's magnetic field is helpful to us in many ways. First, the Earth's magnetic field makes a compass work because the magnetic force points the needle north. If you know the direction of where you are going, you won't get lost. Now I'm going to work on my second detail about solar flares being magnetic sunscreen. I'm going to take what I know about the notes here and write 1 to 2 sentences about how solar flares are helpful and use the magnetic field. In order to prove my topic sentence with my second detail, I wrote, second, the magnetic field protects Earth from dangerous solar flares. When the flares get too close to the Earth, the magnetic force blocks them like sunscreen. I need to put it blocks them like sunscreen. Okay, so finally I'm on to my conclusion, which I just have to wrap up, which we decided to use the sentence starter of clearly and then tell again what's helpful. So I'm going to write my conclusion. Okay, so I have it. Oops, I forgot to do that. I talked about solar flares. I talked about how they're the magnetic sunscreen. And now I have my full story. And it's just a little bit longer than half a page. Okay. Yours is going to be longer because you guys filled out all 4 details. I didn't. So make sure that you check off each box as you work so that I know and you know that you've used your notes and you've written everything that you need to write. That your paper doesn't have to be perfect spelling, but you do need to spell major words correctly, especially earth and magnetic and roller coaster, amusement park, all of those things that were in your prompt, they all need to be spelled correctly. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to be well done. Your handwriting needs to be neat. You need to follow the things that Mrs. McCarty has taught you about finger spacing and indentions, capital I's, periods, beginning letters need to be capitalized. All of those lessons that you've been learning need to be in this paper to prove that you can follow directions as well as write an expository. Do your best work. When you're finished, please turn in your paper and your pillar into your pocket on the wall.